ate too much today.
No.
Yeah, I was at work most of the time.
You have no public hearing. Oh, not writing. Okay, good. Welcome to, turn off Sunny. Okay. Welcome to Monday, May 19, 2014. At this time, Legislator Jenkins lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stand for a moment of contemplative silence for our great country, its people, and those serving it around the world. Thank you. Please be seated. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Majority Leader Borgia.
Here.
Minority Leader Testa.
Here.
Mr. Boykin.
Here.
Mr. Burrows. Mr. Gelfarb.
Here.
Mr. Harcum. Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Mazzano. Ms. Marcotte. Ms. Parker.
Here.
Ms. Perez. Ms. Shimsky.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Spreckman. Ms. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chairman.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Excellent. Call for a motion on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move the consent agenda with the following changes. On page 1, item 1 of unfinished business, add the Committee on Budget and Appropriations. On page 6, carrying over the item from page 5, item ID 7103, add the Infrastructure Committee. Sever and over item 16 on page 6. Sever and over item 7113 on page 7. Sever and over item 7115 on page 7. Sever and over item 7148 on page 9. Add on page 10, the number 6, item 7118, add the Committee on Community Services. On item 7120, please add the following legislators: Legislator Kaplowitz, Parker, A. Williams, L. Williams, Harcum, Shimsky, Perez, Boykin, and Borgia. Item 7121, add the following legislators: Kaplowitz, A. Williams, L. Williams, Harcum, Perez, Shimsky, Boykin, and Borgia. And Jenkins, oh, excuse me, Jenkins is not on this one, yes. And Legislator Jenkins, please. On page 11, item 7124, add legislators A. Williams, Parker, and Borgia to that 7124. On page 13, number 7134, add legislator A. Williams to that item. And item 7137, also on that page, add legislators Kaplowitz, A. Williams, L. Williams, Boykin, Jenkins, Shimsky, Harcum, Perez, and Borgia. We're close to the end. On page 20, sever and over item 31.
That's part of the,
Wish we will,
that's part of the,
on the
Oh,
agenda.
I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm sorry.
If that was a best-kept secret, it's no longer.
Yeah,
And,
sorry.
Otherwise, we will do that under the standing committees at that time, right?
Thank you.
Okay, but the others, okay. All complete there, Mr. Testa?
we concur.
Okay.
Mr. Mazzano? Okay. At this point, so ordered. We will look to minutes approval. Again, Majority Leader Borgia.
Thank you. I would like to move the minutes of Thursday, May 1st, 2004 at 6:45 p.m., as well as the minutes of Monday, May 5th, 2014 at 7 p.m.
Mr. Testa?
Second that?
Mr. Mazzano? Concur? Okay, no objections, so ordered. Minutes approved. And at this point, we have a public comment. Clerk, please read the rules for public comment.
All speakers shall be limited to 3 minutes. I will call the names of the speakers and ask that you please come down the aisle to my left. Murray Bowden, Regina Riley, Deirdre Curran, Alonzo West. And the first speaker is Murray Bowden.
Well, I owe the Committee on Parks a very big thank you, because I was here and I sat there and I discussed the golf courses, and I realized I'm getting older, fellas. I'm going to be 81 in June. This is the size of the hole on your golf courses. And there was an article in the New York Times about updating golf because of young people, and it's too slow and it's getting more difficult for people my age. And they suggested in the Times that the golf hole be made larger. So I request that Westchester County, at least on one course, have 2 holes, one with white flags in a standard size and one with yellow flags, larger size. The other thing is that I spoke about yellow fire engines being easier to see, so I'm now using yellow golf balls. And the tee with the little string on it, when I go out on a course and I'm going to tee up my ball on a fairway, and if it's in a bad lie, I'm going to move it till it's a good place. And if I miss, not counting it. No, don't laugh.
Sounds like Mike.
It got so frustrating for people my age, we've stopped playing. And I want to see us get back again and play. I'm playing tomorrow morning in Rhinebeck with my grandson. He's coming down from Albany. He graduated. He's going to Trinity. We were at Trinity on Saturday, met the president and his wife. Great school. So I've had this putter handle, which people last year gave me a hard time about it, but it's easier to hold. So I'm putting it on all my clubs. And I've made this into a walking stick in case anybody, I used this at the MTA this morning, same thing. Excuse me, Legislator Gelfin?
Mr. Bowden, we're enjoying your presentation. Just
Okay.
feel free to just continue, please.
Last time I was here, I asked about wearing reflective vests. It is the law that police officers at a traffic accident are required, not optional, to wear a reflective safety vest. The day after I was here and spoke about that, there was an accident on a Sawmill River Parkway just south of Ardsley. I sent you an email about it. 2 police officers, Westchester County, firemen, EMS. Everybody had on a safety vest except the police officers. It's the law. Who enforces the law? Where do you draw the line? It is required. It is not optional. The only option is possibly at a traffic stop. An accident is not a traffic stop. Who takes responsibility? David Wildstein changed the rules at the George Washington Bridge. The guy at the top, if he knows about it, is responsible. You know about it.
Mr. Murray.
He's about to take me off.
Mr. Bowden, as always, thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. And I like that bigger whole idea, personally. So,
Regina Riley.
Just to set the record straight, this is supposed to represent a veteran of the United States Navy. I'm sorry I don't have the right insignia up here, but this is all I could get. I'm Regina Riley from Kruger's, New York, the 9th district. There's a false dichotomy between the political and moral life. Karl Marx knew that if you destroy the family, and you help to destroy society. He also believed that if you destroy the sense of God, and more so the sense that you have an obligation to God and an obligation to your neighbor, and you rely totally on the state, that he'll have his totalitarian state, and it's getting like that here in the United States little by little. I just use that as a preface. The latest statistics I could get were 2011. 102,000 abortions were done in New York State. 60% of them were repeat abortions. The black population had 2.5 times more abortions than was proportional to the number of people who are of that race in the New York State. In the United States, since Roe v. Wade, 55 million children have been murdered in the womb. I just want you to wrap your hands around that, because there was a Jewish man who was a Hasidic Jew named Mr. Diamond from Rockland County, who went to the Rockland County Legislature and said, 55 million children, this is a Holocaust greater than the Holocaust. This was a man of the Jewish faith, and this he recognized. Susan B. Anthony, by the way, I'm a member of the Women's Equality Day Reform, and Susan B. Anthony is one of the women who is our foremothers in the right to get right to vote. Susan B. Anthony understood that we are all children of God. The term child means not fully developed. Biologically, embryonic and fetal children are truly human. Genetics proves this. And truly children, they need to grow and develop. They are already born sisters and brothers, need to grow and develop. Netherlands supposedly has legislation that allows parents to kill their children up to 1.5 years old for mental and physical handicaps. It sounds like the Germans and the eugenics of 1930. Susan B. Anthony realized and understood children of God includes spiritual development, where there are elderly who lose their teeth, their motor skills, their voice, their mental acuity, and seem like infants, still grow in spirit.
Ms. Riley, if you could.
Yes, I'll wrap it up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Susan Anthony helped a law in New York State to get laws that would make abortionists criminal. Okay, I'm ready to go. Just wait a minute. Just give me 1 minute. Thank you. And so this actually was to protect the woman from non-doctors doing abortions, and as a matter of fact, Madame Roussel was one of them. It protected them from coerced abortions and underage incestuous statutory rape abortions, something which the abortion law that they're trying to pass up in New York State, S5881, is trying to bring back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Deirdre Curran.
Hi, how are you?
Good evening, legislators. I'm back. We're still talking about Playland. We're still talking about sustainable Playland. A lot's happened in the last couple of weeks. One of their original board members has resigned and withdrawn his support because of the field house. Edith Reed Sanctuary formally withdrew their support because of their environmental concerns. At the last meeting, they admitted that they still don't have any contracts signed with any of their vendors. The county executive's office has apparently flip-flopped on an unclear promise he seems to have made to them behind the scenes to provide them with legal indemnity, and then at the last Parks meeting, Bill Mooney said, "Oh, we didn't write that letter. We never told them that." They haven't gotten the clarity that they said they wanted as far as direction of what the county wants the plan to be, and they don't have legal indemnity, but I think they're still back at the table. Not sure how that's working. I'm not clear why, but let's go through the review process. At the last meeting, it was crystal clear to me, when they were talking about parkland alienation, that from the very inception of this plan, before it was ever even really a plan, the groundwork was very carefully and meticulously crafted so as to find every legal loophole they could to avoid every process they should have to go through for environmental studies and parkland alienation, and that's an abomination. If this is such a good plan, they shouldn't be afraid of going through those processes. They shouldn't be trying to avoid it, and they shouldn't be trying to hide anything. I'm calling on Legislator Parker, who thankfully this past week has decided, upon looking at the plan, that she no longer feels it's viable. As someone who ran on an environmentalist platform, she's a Rye resident, she's a representative for the Rye District. She sits on the Parks Committee, and I believe you're the chairman of the Environmental Committee. We would like to see an environmental impact statement and a full, long-form seeker. The seeker form that they submitted, I don't know anything about seeker forms, and I laughed when I read it. It was so ridiculous. We want an environmental review. We want this done right. The Safe Playland Group would like to see who better than Catherine Parker to spearhead that movement. We would like all the legislators to be on board with this. If this is going to go through, you have to do it the right way. If all of you have to do it the right way, you all have to agree that there's a right way to do this and there's a wrong way to do this, and there's no reason to avoid doing it the right way. Please see to it that you are all in agreement that you do this the right way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alonzo West.
Good afternoon, everyone. I thank this time before this honorable body of legislators, and I thank you for this time, Chairman Kaplowitz. I'm the president of the Westchester County Correctional Officers Benevolent Association, and in November, the governor vetoed a bill that was a statewide local option bill that would have increased three-quarter disability for those officers that got injured by a civilian in a correctional facility or on the grounds. That bill was vetoed because it didn't have a fiscal note on the state level. So if it passed and he had let it go through, the local officers would have had to come to the municipalities and ask for those bills to be passed on the local level. When he vetoed it, we took the same language from that bill and brought it here to Westchester, and we're looking for a home rule message on it. Correction officers work some of the most difficult jobs in law enforcement, dealing with some of the most incorrigible people that's incarcerated behind the walls. We already have active an inmate. That's where one of my members get hurt by an inmate, they're entitled to three-quarters disability. But we don't have the fact that when a person gets hurt by a civilian that comes on the grounds, the visiting room, the lobby, front desk, those areas at Post 1 where people are coming through the facility, where they're not checked by a metal detector, and they're walking all the way into the facility grounds, sometimes with box cutters, knives, and weapons. And the contraband that they bring into the visiting room when they come to visit the inmates, when they bring drugs in. My officers have to restrain the inmates sometime, and they do get in difficult combative situations with the civilians. If they become disabled from that situation, they're only entitled to a third. They're not entitled to a three-quarter pension. One of my officers went over to the shelter that's on the Grasslands Reservation to help a county cop that had a problem over there, and he was directed to go over there. He subsequently got injured from that and went out. Luckily, that officer had 26 years of service and was able to get his pension, but he's still suffering from those injuries he incurred that day to his back. We're looking now just to correct the deficiencies of the first three-quarter bill that was done here in Westchester back in the late 90s. We're looking now to incorporate the duties that we have now that we perform and any disabilities that we may sustain from civilians that come onto the grounds. This bill is very urgent right now. The Assembly right now up in Albany, the Senate, that legislative body right now is going to be closing out in June. I know it's very short time for this issue, but any questions that you have on the fiscal notes and those things, to my understanding, there's contact with the Comptroller's office to clarify anything that's pertaining to it. And I would really appreciate that this body look into that so we can correct this injustice that's being done. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clapper.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have no other cards.
We'll close the public comment portion of the meeting. This time, if the clerk could please read the items of unfinished business.
First item, ID number 7056, was held over from the May 5th, 2014 regular board meeting and appears here as an item of unfinished business for committee referral only. It's an act authorizing the county attorney to settle the lawsuit on behalf of the county against iPark Westchester for reimbursement of rental expenses incurred by the county in connection with the delay in obtaining occupancy and possession of the iPark facility located at 131 Warburton Avenue, Yonkers, New York, and other related claims.
Referral only, long roll call, please.
Ms. Borgia.
Yes.
Mr. Testa.
Yes.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes.
Mr. Burrows. Mr. Gelfarb.
Aye.
Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Maizano. Ms. Marcotte. Ms. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Shimsky.
Aye.
Mr. Smith. Ms. Spreckman. Ms. Williams. Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Aye.
by a vote of 15 to 2, the item is referred to the Committees on Law and Budget and Appropriations. Please note the remaining items under unfinished business were held over from the May 5th, 2014 regular board meeting and appear here as items of unfinished business for action. Item 6954 from the Committees on Legislation and Federal and State Affairs is a home rule request to amend the general municipal law in relation to allowing the governing body of Westchester County to appoint a member of the Westchester County Industrial Development Agency.
Mr. Jenkins, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This particular home rule resolution was reviewed by both legislation and federal and state affairs. This particular home rule resolution is an item that we have passed in the past that would allow the Board of Legislators to appoint one non-voting member to the Board of the Industrial Development Agency for Westchester County. This particular home rule request did get through the Assembly last session, but did not go through the Senate. So we're respectfully requesting that members at this time advance this bill, or advance this request to the state legislature for their consideration.
Mr. Mazzano, anything?
Yes, on behalf of the Legislation Committee, the majority of the members felt that this was a good item for checks and balances and voted it out as something, a positive change for Westchester County.
Colleagues, any legislative discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll take a long roll call.
Ms. Borgia.
Yes.
Mr. Testa.
No.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes.
Mr. Burrows.
Yes.
Mr. Gelfarb. Mr. Jenkins.
Yes.
Mr. Maizano.
Yes.
Ms. Marcotte. Ms. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Shimsky.
Aye.
Mr. Smith. Ms. Spreckman. Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Aye.
approved 13-2. Item 6865
Recommit.
from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects.
Recommit, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, recommit. Item 6871 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects is an amended bond act authorizing the issuance of up to $240,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project SBB 30, Linebrook wastewater treatment plant roof replacement.
Budget appropriations, Ms. Markup. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Marquette. This is a bond act for $240,000, which includes $80,000 of previously authorized bond to fund construction for replacement of safety railings on the roof. The original roof is from 1971. Pump house has electrical equipment. The roof has an estimated 30-year life. It is a very small roof,
Thank you. Ms. Shimsky?
Yes, last time we overed this legislation because we still had not received information on the useful life of the roof. We have since received that information, and it's now ready to go forward.
Excellent. Legislators, any discussion? Seeing none, let's take one more long roll call.
Ms. Borgia?
Yes.
Mr. Testa?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Burrows?
Yes.
Mr. Gelfarb?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Mr. Maizano? Ms. Marcotte? Ms. Parker?
Yes.
Ms. Shimsky?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Spreckman? Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
Approved 15-0. Item 6924, from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, an act amending the 2014 County Capital Budget Appropriations for Capital Project SMO75 Pump Station Rehab Program, Mamaroneck SSD.
Ms. Markup?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for budget so moved.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Legislator Marcotte. This is to amend the county capital budget to increase the county share by $2.3 million. It is for construction and funding of the flood hazard mitigation in conjunction with East Basin, West Basin, and the Edgewater pumping station. This is for construction only. The design has been completed. It's largely a function of the capital budget amendment is a function of results of standing. This is a storm susceptible facility, and the project should basically provide savings to the county for future events. With that, we pass on to construction.
Ms. Shimsky?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item was sent over last time because we had not received the cost estimates requested at the committee level. We have since received those cost estimates, and it's ready to be voted on tonight.
Excellent. Legislators, any comment, questions, thoughts? Otherwise, we'll take the previous long roll call. Without objection, so ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6928, from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $600,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project SW022 Sewer District Heavy Equipment Replacement.
Ms. Markup?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for budget so moved.
Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Smith. This is for $600,000 to fund the replacement of heavy equipment that in each piece costs at least $30,000 or more. Relates to dump trucks, 5-foot trailers, tankers, garbage trucks. It includes a small van with the cameras for sewer system operations. Extends the work that the county currently has the ability to do. The vehicles that are, some of the vehicles that are currently moving are leaking liquids, and that's not a good thing. Discussion came as to whether electric options for these vehicles would be a consideration, and for these type of vehicles, it's determined that these are not. They are, however, valuable for the Preston National Bank. With that, we pass it over to construction.
Ms. Shimsky?
Yes, since we received the information on the condition of the vehicles in question that we had asked for, we are prepared to vote on this tonight.
Excellent. Colleagues, any questions, thoughts, comments? Otherwise, seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6931, from the Committees on Infrastructure and Budget and Appropriations, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $200,000 in bonds of the county to finance capital project SW007, aerial photos and digital mapping.
Ms. Markup?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the budget committee so moved.
Ms. Shimsky?
Yes, since the Infrastructure Committee received the equipment breakdown that it requested, we are prepared to move it to a vote tonight.
Excellent. Colleagues, any comment? Nope. Seeing none, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Takes us to standing committees. Item 6862, from the Committee on Infrastructure, is a bond act authorizing the issuance of $4 million in bonds of the county to finance capital project SY037, Yonkers Joint Treatment Plant Bulkhead Rehab.
Ms. Shimsky? This was in all committees, correct? Even though it was this the one that had been recommitted just to one committee?
Yes. Yes,
So-
that's correct.
So to Ms. Marcotte, budget, your support continues?
Yes, this was fully vetted in the Budget Committee, and I'm happy to move it.
And Mr. Smith as well? Excellent. Ms. Shimsky.
Yes, and this item was recommitted because we did not receive the cost estimates that had been requested in committee. Those cost estimates have since been received. This work is phase 3 of a major program to reconstitute the bulkhead at the Yonkers wastewater treatment plant. That is our largest facility. It's right on the water, on the Hudson. It's very susceptible to storm damage. We really need these fixed. Phase 1 has already been completed. Phase 2 is in the works. This is funding for Phase 3. This area is particularly sensitive because of sinkhole damage underneath it. The work is operationally necessary, and for that reason, once we received the requested breakdown, infrastructure was willing to move it to a vote tonight.
Excellent. Colleagues, questions, thoughts, comments? Seeing none, without objection, so ordered. Take the previous long roll call.
Approved 15-0. Item 6949 from the Committees on Public Safety, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects. A bond act authorizing the issuance of $1,880,000 in bonds to finance capital project BES 13 Fire Training Site Improvements, Phase 2.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was passed unanimously out of the Budget Committee after a lengthy conversation, and I'll pass it over to my colleague, Chairman of Economic Development.
Thank you. As discussed and approved in economic development, we move on to public safety.
Mr. Gelfarb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we can see from the subject matter here, such items as a burn simulator, a smokehouse, and a fire training yard. This is one of our more exciting facilities. Exciting as it may be, it certainly requires a lot of upkeep considering the work that goes on there. The item was fully vetted by the Public Safety Committee. We had a representative of the Department of Emergency Services there, and given the absolute necessity of this facility for proper training of our local first responders, the Public Safety Committee votes it.
Excellent. Colleagues, any thoughts, comments? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6950 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, an amended bond act reducing bond act number 5, 2008 by $100,000, capital project SPC 09 Portchester wastewater treatment plant HVAC systems upgrade.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So moved for the Budget Committee. I'll pass it over to Infrastructure. I'm sorry, Economic Development. Venue.
This is a amended bond.
We look so much alike.
For $100,000, also related to item 6951, which deals essentially with the design and construction management with replacing the HVAC system at Portchester wastewater treatment plant. It was last worked on 26 years ago in 1988, and it is a roof-mounted system, so therefore it is exposed to the elements at that area such as the salt. With that, I move to infrastructure.
Ms. Shimsky.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This facility, as already noted, has a lot of exposure to the most corrosive elements we have in this climate. The facilities in question have reached the end of their useful life. It's therefore operationally necessary that we fix these, and for that reason, Infrastructure is willing to move those out. We did ask for more backup information for those who are interested. We have the CD with the extensive backup information on it for inspection.
Excellent. Colleagues, any questions, thoughts? Otherwise, seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call without objection. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6951 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, a bond act authorizing the issuance of $2,300,000 in bonds of the county to finance the design and construction management of capital project SPC 09 Portchester wastewater treatment plant HVAC systems upgrade.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to move this for the Budget Committee. Pass it over to Economic Development.
Ms. Shimsky.
As previously discussed, so moved for infrastructure.
Colleagues, any questions, thoughts, discussion? Otherwise, seeing none, without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6959 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing Mark Rubio Jr. Esquire as a member of the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board for the term January 1st, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Yes, Mr. Boykin.
The next 22 items relate to appointments to various boards. The Committee on Appointments met, reviewed the attendance records, also looked at the other documentations, and so we're pleased to reappoint Mark Rubio for a term to the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board for the term beginning January 1, 2014 to end December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin, and thank you to you and your committee and staff for their good work on this whole series of appointments and many more to come in subsequent meetings. At this point, we'll take a long roll call and then go forward probably with a previous roll call, but long roll call on this one, please.
Ms. Borgia.
Yes.
Mr. Testa.
Yes.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes.
Mr. Burrows. Mr. Gelfarb.
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins.
Yes.
Mr. Mazzano. Ms. Marcotte.
Aye.
Ms. Parker.
Yes.
Ms. Shimsky.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Ms. Spreckman. Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Aye.
Approved 15-0. Item 6960 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing Donald Heithouse as a member of the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board for a term January 1, 2014 through December 31st, 2016.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is a reappointment of Donald Heithouse to the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board, term beginning January 1, 2014 and ending December 31, 2016. As previously stated, we looked at the attendance records and other documents to make sure they were in order, and we're pleased to move this appointment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, colleagues. Without objection, a previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6961 from the Committee on Appointments, the resolution reappoints Richard Conrad as a member of the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Mr. Boykin is.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is a reappointment, Richard Conrad to the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board, term beginning January 1, 2014, ending December 31, 2016.
Thank you, colleagues. Without objection, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6962 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing Rocco Turso as a member of the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board for a term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2016.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is a reappointment of Rocco Turso to the Westchester County Airport Advisory Board, term beginning January 1, 2014 to end December 31, 2016.
Thank you, colleagues. So those will, without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6978 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Robert Moon as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Robert Moon to the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board, term beginning January 1, 2014 to end December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Excellent. Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6979 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Ross Campbell as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is again a reappointment of Ross Campbell to the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6980 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing George Toxteen as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for a term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, a reappointment of George Toskin as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term beginning January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Without objection, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6981 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing Robert Benz as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for a term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, a reappointment of Robert Bentz to the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board. Term begin January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6982 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing Kenneth Hofferth as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is again a reappointment of Kenneth Hoffer as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Without objection, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6983 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing Joseph Iantorno Jr. as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, a reappointment of Joseph Iantorno Jr. as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term beginning January 1, 2014 to end December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6984 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Richard Lyman as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Richard Lyman as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. I'll also add that Richard Lyman is the fire chief for the city of White Plains. Thank you.
Excellent. Take the previous long roll call. Without objection, so ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6985 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Peter McDonald as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Richard McDonald as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6986 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Byron Gray as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, a reappointment of Byron Gray as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6987 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Henry Bergson as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Henry Bergson to the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term beginning January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6988 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Joseph Olenek as a member of the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Joseph Oliak to the Westchester County Fire Advisory Board for the term beginning January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, I'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6992 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Roland Foucher as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Roland Foucher as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6994 from the Committee on Appointments is a resolution reappointing Stephen Morello as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Stephen Morello as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term beginning January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, I'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6995 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Dr. Emil Nigro as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Dr. Emerald Nairo as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6996 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing Chris Kalish as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of Chris Callis as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6997 from the Committee on Appointments, resolution reappointing David Dawson as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014.
Mr. Boykin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a reappointment of David Dawson as a member of the Westchester County Emergency Medical Services Advisory Board for the term beginning January 1, 2014 to December 31, 2014. Thank you.
Without objection, I'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered, and the chair notes the good knees of Chairman Boykin and welcomes him to the initiation of many of these appointments. Thank you.
Approved 15-0. Item 7049 from the Committees on Budget Appropriations and Community Services, an act authorizing the county to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the Portchester Rye Union Free School District to provide funds for an after-school garden program for elementary grade students.
Ms. Marcotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was discussed in the Budget Committee. This allocation is for the sum of $3,000 for the JFK Magnet School, and I will pass it over to the Chairwoman of Community Services to tell you more about it.
Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This intermunicipal agreement, as stated by the clerk and the chair of Budget and Appropriations, is for an IMA of $3,000 for a school garden greenhouse program for elementary school students, focusing on nutrition and healthy eating. The program will provide on-site lessons to students at the Stone Barn Greenhouse in Pocanico Hills. Students will experience, through the curriculum, nutrition education and support good eating habits, and it'll run from the spring of this year, 2014, through the fall of 2014. I'll now turn it over to Legislator Gelfarb to speak additionally about the program.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Legislator Marcotte. Thank you, Legislator A. Williams. This is certainly not one of the largest items that comes before us, but oftentimes good things come in very small packages, in this case a $3,000 package. This is an IMA to provide a program that will encourage healthy eating. It will encourage the learning of the importance of charitable giving, the importance of sustainable agriculture, the importance of local agriculture. It will benefit the Carver Center, which is an important social services agency within my district. The students will learn growing techniques, will learn agriculture, and will be able to donate fruits and vegetables that they grow to the Carver Center. Thus, that produce will be used in connection with the Carver Center Food Pantry. The students will also learn skills in editing and public speaking. They will undertake video in connection with their work. This is money that is well spent. The money will go towards supplies, seeds, vegetables, containers, things of that nature, transportation back and forth to Stone Barn, as well as a modest amount in salaries. I strongly urge my colleagues to pass this, and again, thank you to the Chairwoman of Community Services and Budget for leading the hearings on this matter.
Excellent. Any discussion, comments, thoughts, Mr. Jenkins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say first that I support this particular piece of legislation because of the value of the program. The suggestion that I know that we talked about, I spoke directly with Mr. Gelfarb about, is that this particular item certainly sounds like it would go under the peruse of many of the fine organizations that we currently fund through the county, whether it's Cornell Cooperative Extension, which has a program that matches that, or whether it's an individual not-for-profit like in the Carver Center in Mr. Gelfarb's Westchester part of the community. So I support this because I think that it's a very important program and consistent with the values that we have. But I do think that for the future, Mr. Chairman, that we may want to consider the other vehicles that we have available to us to help support these fine organizations throughout the county. I'm pretty sure that in Yonkers, with the 26 school buildings and facilities just in the city of Yonkers alone, that they would absolutely benefit from a program like this. But I think that we have chosen to go through the special the services contract area, and certainly to make sure that we have our not-for-profits supporting this. But again, I think this is an excellent program, as Mr. Gelfarb has outlined for the school district. But I just would suggest for the future that we may consider different options. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other colleagues at this time? Without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Items 7066 from the Committee on Budget and Appropriations, an act to authorize the Commissioner of Finance to pay mortgage tax receipts to cities, towns, and villages.
Yes, Ms. Markup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As read by the clerk, this is an act which will authorize us to pay the cities, towns, and villages for the mortgage tax receipts as collected by the county in the amount of $13,321,866.03. Happy to move it for budget. Thank you.
Excellent. To the penny. Any colleagues' comments, thoughts at this time? Otherwise, without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 7075 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget and Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, an act amending the 2014 County Capital Budget Appropriations for Capital Project A056C, Heavy Equipment Acquisition.
Ms. Markup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This was vetted in the Budget Committee. This is a CBA to reflect the receipt of New York State funding for the aircraft rescue fire truck. This is also related to the next Act, 7077. This will actually account for the receipt of those funds. So moved for budget. Thank you.
Mr. Smith. Ms. Shrimsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The piece that's discussed solely in this piece of legislation involves a $49,184 reduction in county share to buy an aircraft rescue firefighter vehicle as well as an aircraft de-icer vehicle. 90% of these vehicles has already been funded by the federal government, and as usual with these airport projects, the state government is reimbursing half of the remaining 10%. So ultimately, our taxpayers will only have to pay the 5%. And we asked the airport facilities people, it's time to replace these vehicles. They're operationally necessary to the safe functioning of the airport, so infrastructure is happy to vote them out.
Excellent. Colleagues, any questions, thoughts? Otherwise, take the previous long roll call. As noted, so ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 7077 from the Committees on Infrastructure, Budget Appropriations, and Economic Development and Capital Projects, an act authorizing the county's Department of Public Works and Transportation to apply for and enter into a grant agreement for funding from the Federal Aviation Administration for Capital Project A056C Heavy Equipment Acquisition.
Ms. Markup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As previously discussed, so moved.
Mr. Smith.
This is an authorization to enter into a grant agreement with the FAA, which would allow us to accept funds from 9% of the estimated project cost of the airport. This is, the county share would be approximately, 10% of the county share would be approximately $162,500, which would ultimately get 5% for capital budget. And then down the road, as we move further on, to replace airfield plow, which is 11 years old, aircraft de-icer, which is 10 years old, and a runway sweeper that was purchased in 1989. Again, as to it is heavy equipment, it is not suitable for electric as it operates in oldest developments. With that, this one.
Ms. Shimsky.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This piece of legislation is necessary to authorize the airport to apply for the funds. As previously discussed, these vehicles are operationally necessary. The old equipment is definitely nearing or exceeded the end of its useful life, and the vehicles that are going to be replacing them meet all federal requirements. So infrastructure, under these circumstances, was happy to vote it out. Thank you.
Excellent. Colleagues, any questions, thoughts, discussion? Otherwise, seeing none, without objection, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 7079 from the Committees on Legislation and Infrastructure, Home Rule request pursuant to Article 9 of the Constitution, requesting the enactment of Assembly Bill Number A9244A and Senate Bill Number S7005A entitled An Act to Amend the Election Law in relation to the filing of papers in the County of Westchester.
Ms. Shimsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I would like to offer 4 discrete but simple amendments to the legislation that was voted out of committee. Please substitute the letter B after B for A after A9244. After S7005, substitute B for A. Also, please substitute the text of the revised Assembly Bill, which specifies that the Board of Elections may stay open until midnight as opposed to 12 a.m. And the 4th item, we are including a copy of the Senate bill, which just became available.
Okay, we're going to amend for your committee, Mr. Mazzano, for legislation. So
Legislation accepts those changes?
okay. With those changes, Ms. Shimsky.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This bill is a home rule to authorize the state legislature to permit our Board of Elections to stay open until midnight on petition receipt days. Last year, this provision became a subject of litigation because it turned out that the Board of Elections hours were informally extended without authorization. The problem was the court disallowed it and disallowed a whole pile of third-party petitions. The problem is, if you're going to do it, if you're going to have the extended hours available for one, you need to have them available for all. And the Board of Elections, and I think all of us concur that we should give the Board of Elections the opportunity to stay open very late that night. But this way, if we do it by legislation, we make it clean and everybody knows the rules going in, so no one side has an unfair advantage over the other. For that reason, as I said, both of our Board of Elections commissioners were in favor of this bill, as was the Infrastructure Committee, and we voted it out as a result. Thank you.
Excellent. Colleagues, any discussion on this? Mr. Marzano?
I would just add, on behalf of the Legislation Committee, that I expect everyone here and candidates across the county next year are going to appreciate that they can get their petitions in by midnight rather than stand online at 4:30, that sometimes in the old days had gone down the street in front of the Board of Elections. So this was requested bipartisanly by the commissioners of the Board of Elections to the state legislators. They thought it made sense. They brought it down to us for the home rule. I do think that for the purposes of making that day a little less stressful for all candidates, Legislation Committee supported this, and I support this.
Excellent. Any other colleagues at this time? Others will take the previous long roll call as noted and so ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 6953 from the Committee on Environment and Energy, a resolution to set a public hearing on the 2014 Agricultural and Farmland Protection Board Ag District Number 1 parcel inclusions.
Ms. Parker.
Yes, there were two parcels that have been approved to join the Ag District, and there were a total of 7. 2 have been approved, so I'm asking for a public hearing to be set.
And the date?
For the next meeting, June 2nd, I believe.
At 7:30 p.m.?
Yes.
Excellent. So June 2nd, 7:30 p.m. is the call at this time. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take the previous long roll call. So ordered.
Approved 15-0. Item 7141.
Over, excuse me.
Over on that. Takes us to Madam Clerk.
Motions, resolutions, call of the districts.
Legislators, Mr. Testa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to follow up on the over that was just made for item 31, which is ID number 7141, I would like to request that that item be put into the legislation and budget committees, please.
Ms. Busher?
I certainly don't have an objection to those committees discussing it, but I'm not exactly sure the procedural way for an overt item to be referred then to committee. I think that the chairs of those two committees could probably just take it up as a matter on their agendas, right?
Well, it's over. It'll be taken up next time. We do have a kind of a matter of...
Yes, I'm saying they can just take it up as
In the spirit
agenda
also,
items.
if the chair would,
Yeah.
I could refer it into legislation, or the chair of the committee, if you, Mr. Jenkins, if you wish.
Mr. Chairman, I certainly will make sure that, that we send information over to both the chairs of budget and legislation as requested. And then it's an item that's held over for the next meeting, so certainly the committees would have an opportunity to review it. It's not referral. Though.
As chair, so what we'll do is it'll retain in your committee, but you'll also then officially refer it over to each of those two committees for their discussion and their approval.
That would be your
I'll
call,
back
Mr.
here. And just for all to understand that anytime we're on a home rule clock, if you will, with a state legislature, in this case, that's you know, a moving target. This chair, you know, all of us, on behalf of the full board, I will be sensitive to, you know, potentially having special meetings, especially if we're having special meetings for other items, be able to, in a timely fashion, have our legislative colleagues get this and be able to discuss it. So I'll be sensitive to that. Ms. Borgia.
I would like to add a name to the memorial resolutions, but before I do that, I just want to say that as a former employee of the New York State Legislature, I have noticed that all of the home rule resolutions come in at the end of the legislative session when it's in a mad rush hurry. So I think that it would behoove all of us to remind our state representatives that some of these items actually don't have to happen in June, and they could take it up as home rule resolutions in March so that we don't have this crazy mad dash to the end, which we always seem to have. But on a more somber note, I would like to add the name of my friend Itzhak Mintz, who passed away unexpectedly last week.
Okay. Colleagues? Mr. Williams.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'd like to add the name Lorraine Rose to the memorial resolution.
Okay, so noted. Any colleagues? This time, okay. If we can all rise for a moment of silence for those our motion resolutions for the district. And at this time, accept the motion to adjourn. Ms. Borgia.
I move that we adjourn this meeting to
to our next scheduled board meeting on June, I'm sorry?
June 2nd.
Yes, June 2nd at 7 PM.
Short roll call? Okay.
Ms. Borja? Mr. Testa? Aye. Mr. Maizano? Yes. Mr. Chairman?
Aye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.